Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Oberoi Realty Limited Q4 FY21 earnings conference call. We have Mr. Oberoi, the Chairman and Managing Director of the company, and Mr. Saumil Daru, Director of Finance of the company with us for the call. Please note that this call will be for 60 minutes, and for the duration of this conference call, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and this conference call is being recorded, and the transcript for the same may be put up on the website of the company. After the management discussion, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. Should you need any assistance during the conference call, you may signal the operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Before I hand the conference over to the management, I would like to remind you that certain statements made during the course of this call may not be based on historical information or facts of the company, may be forward-looking statements including those relating to general business statements, plans, strategy of the company, the future financial condition, and growth prospect. The forward-looking statements are based on expectations and projections and may involve a number of risks and uncertainties and other factors that could cause the actual results, opportunities, and growth potential to differ materially from those suggested by such statements. Mr. Oberoi, the Chairman and Managing Director of the company, thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you as per the time zone from which you have logged in, and welcome to the conference call of Q4 FY 2021 results and business updates. Thank you all for taking time out for this call. I hope your family and you are doing well and keeping yourselves safe. These are very testing moments. Before I begin, I would like to share a couple of updates. In Q4, we commenced booking for the third phase of Oberoi Garden City with the launch of one tower, Elysium, and also for the sixth tower in our Sky City project, Borivali. Both these projects received overwhelming response, and our cumulative sales in this quarter crossed 2,000 crores mark as we sold 1 million square feet across all our projects. We ended this year with our highest ever sale value in any given year, with 3,400 crores of sales and with 1.7 million square feet of areas booked. With this, now I hand over the call to Saumil for details of the numbers. I'll be happy to address your individual questions once we begin the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oberoi. I guess most of you would have gone through the presentation which has been uploaded on our website. If not, it's already there right now. We'll keep things short and sweet so that we have enough time for Q&A. In terms of consolidated financials, we achieved a total consolidated revenue of 800 crores for this quarter, as against 837 crores for Q3 FY21 and 625 crores for Q4 FY20. The consolidated PBT for this quarter was 354 crores as against 360 crores for Q3 FY21 and 350 crores for Q4 FY20. The consolidated PAT stood at 287 crores for this quarter as against 286 crores for Q3 FY21 and 250 crores for Q4 FY20. Moving on to the asset level performances, beginning with the investment properties. Oberoi Mall, which is the retail asset, contributed about 30 crores to the operating revenue in Q4 FY21 as against 49 crores in Q3 FY21 and 39 crores for Q4 FY20. The EBITDA margin in this vertical is at about 83% this year. Commerz, which is our office space asset, contributed 6 crores to the operating revenue for Q4 FY21 as against about 6 crores for Q3 FY21 and 4 crores for Q4 FY20. The EBITDA margin in this case is in excess of 73%. And Commerz 2, which contributed about 29 crores for Q4 FY21 as against 33 crores for Q3 FY21 and 32 crores for Q4 FY20. The EBITDA margins in this vertical is in excess, in this asset is in excess of 91%. The Westin Mumbai Garden City contributed 12 crores to the operating revenue for Q4 FY21 as against 11 crores for Q3 FY21 and 29 crores for Q4 FY20. Moving on to the development properties. For Exquisite, we booked about close to 14,700 square feet in Q4 FY21. Till date, we have booked about 15.05 lakh square feet, which is about 97% of the total inventory in that project. The total booking value this quarter was 35 crores, and the total revenue recognized in this project is also 35 crores on account of 100% project completion. Similar numbers for Esquire. We booked close to 64,000 square feet in this quarter. Till date, totaling 19.14 lakh square feet. And the total booking value for this quarter was about 148 crores as against 234 crores in Q3 FY21 and 41 crores in Q4 FY20. The total revenue recognized for the project in this quarter is also 148 crores on account of 100% project completion. Moving on to the third phase in Goregaon for Elysian. Of the total project launched of about 11.75 lakh square feet, we booked close to 5.32 lakh square feet, and the total booking value stood at about 991 crores. For Maxima, of the total project of 4.1 lakh square feet, we have booked close to 44,000 square feet in this quarter. Until date, we have booked close to 1.03 lakh square feet. The total booking value in this quarter is 66 crores, as against 61 crores in Q3 FY21 and 14 crores in Q4 FY20. The cumulative booking value till date is about 164 crores. The total revenue recognized for this project in Q4 FY21 is 59 crores, and the cumulative revenue recognition till date is about 85 crores. In Mulund, for Eternia, we booked close to 45,000 square feet in Q4 FY21. Till date, we have booked close to 7.68 lakh square feet. Total booking value in this quarter was 69 crores as against 76 crores in Q3 FY21 and 33 crores for Q4 FY20. The cumulative booking value till date is about 1121 crores, and the total revenue recognized in this quarter was 35 crores, and cumulative revenue recognition till date is about 719 crores. In Mulund for Enigma, we booked close to 98,000 square feet in this quarter. Till date, about 6.93 lakh square feet. Total booking value this quarter was 153 crores as against 157 crores in the Q3 FY21 and 18 crores in Q4 FY20. Cumulative booking value till date is 1,036 crores. The total revenue recognized for this project is Q4 FY21 is 68 crores, and cumulative revenue recognition till date is about 624 crores. First, moving on to Sky City, we booked about close to 2.56 lakh square feet in this quarter. Till date, about 23.48 lakh square feet. Total booking value this quarter was at about 443 crores as against 293 crores for Q3 FY21 and 74 crores for Q4 FY20. Till date, the booking value is about 3,794 crores, and the revenue recognition in this project was 281 crores for this quarter, and cumulative till date is at about 2,649 crores. For 360 West Oasis, this quarter we booked one more apartment, and till date we have booked 6.6 lakh square feet. The total booking value in this quarter was 48 crores, and total booking value till date is stands at about 2,770 crores. Coming back to some key financial parameters, our adjusted EBITDA margins for Q4 FY21 was at 47%. PAT margins was 35%. The EBITDA margins for mall and commerce as usual are higher than average as mentioned before. Excluding them, our margins for our pure residential business is 46% for this quarter. With this, I will hand over the floor for questions that you are having. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Puneet from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Congratulations on a great sales momentum here. Can you comment a bit more on what you see in terms of sales momentum going on from the Q4 levels?
Participants, please stay connected. Line for Mr. Oberoi has been dropped. Participants, please stay connected while we rejoin Mr. Oberoi back to the call. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We have the line from Mr. Oberoi reconnected back to the call. Puneet, may I request you to go and repeat your question once again, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Puneet, the line got disconnected.
Yeah, no worries. So congratulations on great sales recorded in the last quarter. What I want to understand is whether you see this kind of sales momentum continuing into April as well. Obviously, the current environment is all shut, but do you see that going into April as well?
So, Puneet, frankly, we are in a lockdown situation again. So April and May pretty much look like a washout. We had that window when the lockdown opened post September, and we saw this entire sales momentum in the last 5 months. What is heartening and good to know is that we don't deal in product that is perishable. So whatever doesn't get sold today will get sold later. We more than covered up for the whole year last year. I had in fact told my team that we literally will have to land our plane with both engines shut, as in we'll probably not have any sales and not have any fuel coming in, but we'll really need to use the height and glide down. But luckily for us, we got super tailwind. We not only managed it beautifully well. I'm very hopeful that whenever you see a quarter like what we are seeing this year, between April and June, we'll always have a quarter which will do exceptionally well and cover up. So to answer your question, April and May look like a washout because there's been a lockdown. We are not even allowed to show apartments to anybody. I mean, and these are how much ever one does in technology, people still want to touch and feel the property. So once the lockdown opens, one will know really how the momentum, gets set. But I'm very hopeful whenever it opens up, we'll obviously see, this sort of latent demand come in and, forcefully catch up like how it did the last year.
But first 10 days of April when it was still open, I mean, was there any slowdown because of stamp duty going back or there was...
Not really. I mean, again, like in those few days, one does end up doing some sales. But, we were just getting out of a period where everybody exhausted their energies buying everything before March because they all were saving on stamp duty and stuff like that. I mean, we did exceptional numbers. The sales at Elysium stand beyond 1,000 crores. And these are payments where people have made us anywhere between 35 and 45% of the payment. So when you see 1,000, 1,100 crore sales, you're also seeing, a collection of 300-400 crores coming from people. So, to answer your point, we had exhausted ourselves out in March, and we were looking at that momentum obviously to build up, and first few days of April are always a bit slow, so that's where we are. But like I said, we don't deal in perishable product, number one. Number two, there are many answers to your question. I feel India is hugely underbuilt. Number three, there are hardly any developers who will probably, be able to stand the test of COVID and the financial mess. So we will be few of us who will probably build India, I mean, I'm very hopeful and I'm telling my team and gearing up for that sort of mindset, So we will be building volumes, we will be building a lot. And we feel that we will have a very large share of the market just because, we have the ability to give quality, we have the brand name to back it up, and we have the knowledge. So that's where we are really.
Great. Can you also comment a bit upon your 3 projects potential Thane launch? What is the status on the Glaxo land project? What is likely to be the final built up between commercial, office and mall? And third, whether the progress on Commerz III is on track for March 22 delivery.
So let me begin by talking about Thane. We are currently designing Thane, and according to like the initial feel of the project, it's probably one of the best we have ever done. We haven't done anything like that till today, and it's going to be one of its kind. And we are gearing up for a launch somewhere around September, October launch. We will be fully ready with our show apartment, everything. And so that's one. On the second bit, which is our Worli project, we intend to do, we see a huge demand in Resi, so we are tempted to do Resi. In fact, design work for that is also ready, or rather getting ready. We may play with a little bit of commercial on the ground floor. We are talking to a very high-end retail player. So if that happens, we'll probably look at doing that. But otherwise, it's out and out Resi project. That's the second. The third, the work progress, despite all the challenges, is amazing. I wish we were on a video call. I would have shown you, because it's happening right behind my desk. And we are on the 6th level, and we are gearing up. We are gearing up for the 2022 finish.
Okay, and rent will start
with no surprises, being thrown at us. The overall date, at least internal target, is to meet that date.
Okay, and rent will start from April 23 onwards.
Correct.
So Worli, how do you see this? Won't it be conflicting with your existing product, which you still have to sell quite a bit?
Not really. In fact, I want to just tell you all that even another project, society has appointed us as their developers. This is the Shiv Shahi Society, which this other developer was doing. So will have to help me with the name. HBS. So we will have 3 projects in that very close vicinity. We've taken over HBS. In fact, the society has appointed us. We have nothing to do with HBS. We have our own GSK project, and we have 360 West. So it's one of the best areas. We are putting ourselves a Ritz-Carlton there. The Resi product has turned out to be really well. So I don't see that as a problem.
Got it. And can you also give some number on what was the construction spend for FY21?
That you'll have to talk to Somil. I'm very bad with numbers, Because he's good with numbers, I'm bad with numbers. So, we just...
Somil, can you share?
That offline.
Yeah, I can discuss it with you offline. I'll just ask the team to just do the total computation. If I get it before the call is over, I'll let you know on the call itself.
Got it. My last question is on the enabling resolution which you guys were intending to pass on for raising equity. Any thoughts on what is the intent?
Not really. You've just said it. It's only an enabling resolution. We just want to be ready. It's not only gunpowder, it's gunpowder loaded. As and when we require to fire, we will fire. But right now, we don't see a tiger, so it's okay.
Got it. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kunal Lakhan from CLSA. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kunal.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Somil. Just quickly on sustenance sales, right? Now, barring the new launches, I think sustenance sales were also very strong this quarter in the ongoing projects, particularly Mulund and Esquire and Exquisite. So, should we expect we'll continue to clock 200 crore per quarter at same Exquisite, Esquire going ahead?
We want to do much more than that, and I'll tell you something that the Mulund project has eventually and finally come into its own. You can see the difference between the product and the quality that we have built. We now have, multiple floors that finishings are done. We've started taking our buyers, existing buyers, to see what the apartment looks like from inside. Even new purchasers are coming. So everybody who was on a borderline, wanting to buy our product but waiting, has now realized that this is a different product, and I feel that we will do something very similar that we did in any of our project, be it Borivali or in Goregaon. By sheer quality and the design that we are able to create, we been able to drive sales. I think Mulund's time has come. This entire financial year, Mulund will be the one that will lead the pack, or at least will be at par. Actually, if you see between Borivali and Mulund, if I remove the F Tower, both have done pretty similar numbers. So it's very heartening to see that Mulund has come into its own, and it's so much more ready today. So very excited about Mulund, and thank you for that question. I think we will be able to, like I said, that we are not dealing in a perishable product. Whenever it opens, it is bound to catch up and do well. So I'm clearly looking at not a quarter on quarter, because last year was the way it was. We're looking more like an annual target, and we know that whenever the markets open up, we will be able to do that.
Sure. Thanks, Vikas. Just continuing on the same question. So the product configuration at Mulund is pretty premium to the market per se. Are we thinking on the same lines for Thane also? We had earlier plans of making a little more aspirational over there, but how are we thinking of in terms of product configuration for Thane now?
Firstly, I have realized one thing over the, so 95% of people who buy homes from us are not first-time buyers, they are second-time buyers. And they are all looking at an upgrade. So very frankly, all my apartments are aspirational. So they aspire to be in a better place from where they are. So the idea is, and then these are people who are willing to pay me my price. And then, I'm not even competing with the rest of the rut. So obviously, our product configuration is going to be it's not going to be the typical market configuration. Everyone's doing a particular product. I don't want to do that. You won't believe that we have got maximum revenue from Enigma, which is a product where we have 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom. 4-bedroom and 3-bedroom, which are much larger than Eternia, which are smaller 3-bedroom and a smaller 4-bedroom. So literally, the larger 4-bedroom sales have been 2.5x of what the other one was. If you see Borivali also, the larger configurations are doing much better and all that. In fact, in Elysium, you will be surprised that we are a minimum 20% higher on area configuration from Esquire, and done exceptionally well. I don't have a single 4-bedroom hall to sell up to a particular floor in that building. And we had internally we were fighting, should we do 4 beds, should we not do 4 beds, should we do this larger 4-bedroom and not do that larger 4-bedroom. But it's been lapped up by the market, though. It's been really amazing. So we will continue to follow that.
So one can expect like a 3 to 4-bedroom kind of configuration in Thane as well.
I don't want to say anything and kill the surprise. I want to ensure that everyone is interested, and it'll be something very unique. We are really working very hard on the plan, and it'll come out to be something really amazing.
Sure. And my second question was on the leasing side. Any update on new leasing at Commerz III? And if you can give us some just a brief on like how much total area has been leased so far. And also another part of the question is that the current momentum in office leasing remains kind of subdued, with physical occupancies being so low. Does that worry you? Because we are expecting completion next year this time around.
No, not really. See, we are not. I just want to clarify. Thanks for asking me that again, so that I can actually answer Puneet's question also. We are positioning ourselves to complete the project in 2023. We have to give Morgan Stanley entry in 2022 for them to do their interiors. So they need a particular level of finish, which is what we are trying to achieve. The work above and around will continue, and we intend to finish it by 2023. So, we are 2 years away from that, and I really hope that we all will be seeing the end of this pandemic by then, not just because I want to lease my buildings, but we all are tired, and we all, are praying that we have this behind us, normalcy comes back. And, in fact, one of my board members very interestingly said that this is not the new normal, this is the new abnormal. So it's like even beyond the abnormal, and it's not being factored for and all that. So I feel that, in 2 years' time, the world will settle. You can see, hopefully that continues also, but parts of US and all are coming back to, normal lifestyle. We also hopefully will within the next 1.5, 2 years, and then things will be back.
Great. And if you can share the data point on how much area is yet to be leased?
Yeah. So barring Morgan Stanley, we haven't leased anything else. We haven't lost tenants anywhere else either. We did a few small additions in Commerce One, which was left by somebody, is now acquired by occupied by somebody. So barring that, there is nothing. There is no major shift, since the last quarter as such. I'd say it's pretty consistent.
Great. Thank you so much, Vikas, and all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandapal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, Vikas. Congratulations on phenomenal numbers this quarter. So my first question is that now we are topping out in terms of sales. This was phenomenal here. We did 3,400 crores of sales. So this sets the base for expectations into the future. So if I see your projects, they are reaching their potential in terms of developable area left, be it OGC or Borivali or Mulund. So the growth will come from Thane. But this question was more from the business development side. So you said you want to gain market share. You are good at, your brand is strong. So how do we gain market share from here on? And if you can touch upon the business development side, what kind of opportunities you are looking at? Because traditionally we have been doing very large township projects. So do you see those kind of opportunities there, or we will now spread ourselves thin and look for smaller projects? And also if you can touch upon geographies we are looking at. Thank you.
Thanks for asking this question because, part of your question is very important. One is that we have never shied away from taking smaller projects. It's just that we, by default, ended up getting large projects and we've enjoyed working on them. We are always open to doing smaller projects. It could be, 3, 4, 5 lakh square feet. We are pretty okay doing that. So that's one. Two, I still have at least 50 plus lakh square feet of resi area to be built in Goregaon, and 50 lakh square feet is 12 to 15,000 crores of revenue here. We have 3 more towers in Borivali to be built. Even if you see the development cycle of some of these projects, at least Mulund will be done by next year, Borivali will be done in another 2 years. And we are very open and constantly buying. So I know that I have personally always been under pressure from the market to buy, So they, after Borivali what? Okay, so after Borivali, Thane happened. After Thane what? This is the only business we are in, unlike many of my other competitors. And this is what we know best. So we will continue to buy land. We are very, very, consistently and constantly looking at buying new land parcels. This is the best time, I would say, because most of the developer coffers are empty, and we are doing well. They also have their brand erosion happening. So obviously they know they cannot even sell. This is the best time for us to go out and look for land. There are very few options for the landowner, and we will look like one of those who will raise their hand when it comes to.
And in terms of geography, besides MMR, I'm looking to add, because earlier we had plans about NCR, so and thought there now Because most of your competitors are now looking at new geographies and even new JDAs. So there is, I think, a lot of people are chasing JDAs also. So if you can give some sense on that.
So personally, I'm really not a big fan of JDA. I prefer buying that out. But I understand how JDAs function. We will give it our own twist and make sure that there is no, there is clarity between landowner and us, wherein, there is very little accounting that takes place. So we give them a X amount of area and get done with it. So that's literally our land cost. So we are, again, I want to say that we have realigned ourselves to being open to doing JDAs, but in a different way where, there is no conflict and there is complete clarity. We are open to it. We are open to buying new land, and we are very aggressively looking. In fact, I want to tell the people that we are building expertise within our business development. I've hired new people, and I'm hiring more people to make sure that we do this redevelopment business as aggressively as we do fresh land. So one team, their KRA will depend on how they pursue redevelopment projects. So we will be doing a lot of these redevelopment. They could be JDAs or they could be redevelopment of societies, larger societies, and so on and so forth. So we are very open about it.
Just last thing on the 360 West. Last time I think I asked this question. You said that before quarter there will be some positive surprise there, but despite doing so well, X of 360, so that project has really not done phenomenal sales this year as a whole. So your thought process about how you think accelerate things there?
So we want to get occupation certificate, which we'll do now. We want to cross the threshold of 25% sales also at such a time. Then we plan our tax flows also within this financial year. So, there are multiple reasons why we are where we are today. And going forward, like we're hoping to get OC, and then once you get OC, obviously you have to pay taxes. So, and then the sales momentum will also take place. So we are trying to, align all these three things together.
Okay. Thank you, Vikas.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhinav Sinha from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Hi, Abhinav.
Hi. Great quarter, and good to see the launches come through. So firstly on Elysian itself now, we have seen a strong sell-through, and how would you pace the remainder of the project now in terms of new launches, and also what would be the product positioning here?
Abhinav, very frankly, even we obviously were hoping for something amazing, but didn't expect it to be this great. So internally, our target was literally, 25 or 30% of what we actually got. And we were so pleasantly surprised that with COVID and with all this also, people were queuing up. And it didn't really look like that there was COVID. So very heartening, I would say. And we came up with very attractive pricing. We really upped the product. I don't know how many of you know, but we introduced a Zoom meeting room in the apartment. So literally people, can be doing their Zoom meetings out of this small little area we had carved out in the planning. So that kind of really hit the chord. We have 4 other towers to be built in the same vicinity, and we will keep rolling out. In fact, this one project will give us enough cash flows to build all the 4, at least the superstructure. So we are cash flow positive by that much of a mile, literally. So the work for all towers is on. The work for the towers will continue, and we will open. In fact, can I tell you, it's funny that I don't have a single 4-bedroom apartment to sell, and I already have a list of people who want 4 bedrooms. They want 4-bedroom apartments, and so we are waiting, and we'll launch maybe one of those festive seasons. Surely this financial year we will launch one more building. It could be maybe, close to September, October, November, that sort of time when, other things will also settle. And we've realized that, the good part is Borivali has nothing to do with Goregaon, Thana has got nothing to do with Borivali, and Mulund has nothing to do with Thana. So we have, the good part is that I can literally do a launch for all 4 sites at one go on one day, and I'll still see the same momentum because they are different micro markets. And this is not by default, this has really been our strategy also, that we will be in multiple micro markets so they're not competing with each other. And so that's why we are very confident that whenever we start, we'll be able to pull that through.
Sure. Good to know that. And secondly, on various projects, the pricing was also a bit higher this quarter by about 3 to 5%. So have you taken some price hikes there, or it's more of a mixed thing?
Sorry, come again. I'm sorry, didn't get your last part.
Sorry, so on most of the projects, the pricing or the realization that you got were higher by about 3 to 5% on a QoQ basis. So you took some price hikes there?
No. So we didn't do any price hike. In fact, what we really want to tell everybody is that all these sales were achieved without dropping a single rupee. We haven't reduced the price. These are higher floors that obviously fetch you a higher per square foot rate, and that's why the average looks higher. So we firstly don't want to take any credit that we increased the price, but the other part is that we did not even reduce, because I saw a lot of my competitors literally discounting and selling. We didn't have to get down doing that. We were able to achieve these sales without reducing prices.
Okay. And lastly, if you can comment on how the construction pace or the worker availability is right now because of the second wave?
So, we've had a mixed bag, I would say. We had 1,700 people in Borivali. That unfortunately came down to 400-500 because, a lot of people decided to leave there. As far as Goregaon is concerned, we had a decent number staying put here who did not leave us. So, it's a mixed bag really. Luckily or unluckily, I would say, there's nothing fortunate about COVID, but labor realized that, their best bet to get medical attention is in Mumbai. If they are here, they'll still get a hospital bed. Down in the village and all, they don't have that facility. So unlike the last year, you did not see a lot of people really leave as such, So that part was good. But yes, like I said, that it's been a mixed bag really.
Sure. Okay, thanks a lot and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Samir from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
Vikas, my compliments on the best ever quarter and the year. So
many thanks. Many thanks.
And Vikas, the big story about Oberoi also was about rental scale up from 300 crores going to 1500 crores when all the offices and the malls come to completion. So how is this prospect looking like, and especially in view of you thinking of converting Glaxo Worli into residential? So just your thoughts on this.
So, the Borivali Mall is being built as planned. So that part is happening. The Morgan Stanley commercial building is continuing as planned. The only change really is the Worli project. If I give you numbers, really even the back of the envelope numbers, I am looking at, if I do resi, I can do a sale of about, 8,000 crores and more, whereas my cost will be about 2,000 crores. So I can make a surplus of almost 6,000 crores. I mean, I can give you, numbers later. I'm just saying these are back of the envelope numbers. Very compelling reasons. If I can do a PBT of 6,000 crores on one single project in Worli, should I be doing commercial? So again, value accretion to the company will be far higher when we do resi and we decide to do resi. And so really the toss-up is between the two. And given the pandemic, given the slowdown in office uptake, and given probably I would say not even the slowdown, the opaqueness in which this will play out is kind of, and at the same time resi is like really bouncing for us. We just thought that maybe it's not a bad idea to do that, and that's where we are.
Okay, and if I'm not wrong, the society that you mentioned is just across the road, HBS.
Yes, correct.
And that's an under construction project. So what's the status? Have you taken over that project, or?
So I'll tell you the society. The only thing that is under construction is the society building. Nothing on the free sale component was built or is built. The society has terminated the earlier developers agreement and has appointed us as a developer. And so the stage is like as I tell you, and so the appointment is done. We got 100% of the members appointing us as a developer. Now we'll obviously move in and start building.
And what's the economic arrangement for you?
So there is no economic arrangement. We are developing the rehab component for the existing society. We have to pay them rent, and we have to pay them rent, and we have to pay them some corpus. It's a decent deal, I would say. It's a decent deal. It's a good deal. And we also get to control the micro market. That was also the idea, really.
And your take home is the entire commercial portion of that?
Residential portion, the entire resi.
Yeah.
So there is a rehab component for the people. There is a rehab component for, the existing guys, and there is a free sale component for us.
So how big is the free sale component?
If everything goes well, we are looking at close to about 800,000 square feet carpet.
Oh, I see. Awesome. Okay, that's great.
And and it's quietly happened. And again, like I want to tell you, this is all because of the brand name and the kind of trust the society had on us, and the way we went about it and stuff like that.
Okay, great. And I would presume both this project and GSK Worli would be running in parallel, almost overlapping 3-4 years.
Yes, pretty much. So we'll have to make a product differentiator and stuff like that, and all that we will do. And yeah.
Okay, one final question with your permission. So Elysian, I think very impressive. I was just going through my notes, if I'm not wrong. I think what you did in 1 quarter, 500,000 square feet, is something that for Esquire you took 3 quarters to do that when you launched it in 2011. So a great job done. And in the brochure of that, I think there are 4 towers, 4 more towers that it is reflecting.
Correct.
They're behind the commas, 1, 2, and 3.
Correct.
So all of these 5 put together is 5 million square feet. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So, I just want to give you a little justification. Esquire was launched, and prior to Esquire, I had nearly given Exquisite and Woods. But after having built Esquire, when we launched Elysium, we had already delivered Esquire, we had Exquisite, we had Woods, these, developments. Now, Elysium is working on not just brand Oberoi Realty, but also on, Goregaon as a suburb is now woken up, literally. Today, people are very happy to live here, and COVID also showed them that, this contained environment, the way we had created the development, And so everybody got so many people complimenting us, and which is so heartening, to telling us that, when we look out, we don't feel claustrophobic, we feel so good when we come down and when we walk in the lockdown and all. So when they, use the common facilities and stuff like that, it's all that word that goes out, and that kind of has helped Elysium a lot. And I feel, the rest of the apartments also will get the benefit of all the development one has done, and happy customers living here and all that. That probably will play out for us, and we are hoping for that.
No, because it's been an awesome journey. I remember Woods used to be like 1,400 square feet per unit. So now from there to 3,500 square feet is is one way up journey.
Yeah. But in fact, Woods was 1,295, and 880 carpet and all that, So from there to 2,500 carpet. So literally 3x. And you won't believe that I have customers who were originally in Woods, then moved to Exquisite, then moved to Esquire, and now have bought Elysium. So they are literally within that ecosystem. They are growing, they have made money, and they are very happy to upgrade within the same complex and stuff like that, and they are able to sell their old apartment. So technically, if you see, the price difference between Woods and Elysium is not there. You can sell your 1,200 square feet, you invest on another 1,200 additional area, and you can buy 2,400 square feet. So they haven't depleted of their value also, on a per square foot carpet rate, they are pretty much the same. So you're only paying for the additional area, and there's always somebody who wants to buy 1,200. So that supply is continuing within the old apartments, and the new ones are the ones which are with additional area. So Exquisite was 1,000 square feet, 1,100 square feet carpet. Esquire was 1,400 carpet, and now Elysium 3-bedroom is 1,800 carpet. So there are buyers for 1,400, there are buyers for 1,100, and these guys are buying 1,800. And so I'm also understanding the psyche of these buyers and how and what drives them and all that. It's an amazing what comes out is brilliant.
Sure. Excellent. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Swagato Ghosh from Franklin Templeton. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. So, Mr. Oberoi, on 360 West, if I understood you correctly, did you defer your sales intentionally so that we do not pay taxes in FY21?
Very difficult question. Can we ask something else, please?
So, I think it's slightly important because all other projects were all other projects benefited from the stamp duty cut. Your 360 West did not. While it should have been a big beneficiary because of the overall numbers that we have seen from luxury projects, have seen real upticks in the March quarter.
No, what we can simply say is that we've left it for it to be in this financial year rather than running for the last financial year, if let's say one were to put it that way.
Okay. So we should...
Nothing planned, nothing. It just played out that way, I would put it. It just played out that way. We haven't planned anything of that sort.
Okay. Then probably begs the question that...
One will not defer a sale just because you have to defer taxes. That's how I would...
Yeah, absolutely. Then I'm curious to understand why only one unit was sold, when it actually fell, the sales momentum.
We are not reading too much into it. We are okay. We'll sell the rest of it now.
Okay. And on the HPS Shiv Shahi thing, I want to understand the economics better in terms of you would be having some upfront investment in terms of the corpus given and the cost incurred for that rehab part. How does it compare to own land project like the upfront investment, the margins, etc.?
They both are pretty similar. See, most people who do treatment forget. They think that the land is coming to them for free. But they forget that they have approval cost, they have rentals to pay, they have corpus to pay, they have construction cost of the redevelopment or rehab portion to pay. When you put all this together, they are either the same as buying new land, but you get a deferment to pay that kind of money, or they are slightly cheaper because you are putting in all this effort. So I would put it this way: the economics of any redevelopment are not very drastically different. They are pretty much, or I'd say they're as expensive as you buying regular free sale land. Like I said, you just get a bit of deferment, and in this case, the location is great. So, it made sense for us to pick this up.
Okay, and so going forward, if this works out well, will we do more of this, or is it too much hassle versus owning?
No. In fact, I told you that I'm already hiring people to do specific redevelopment projects as their KRA. So we'll have a separate team that will be chasing regular land parcels, and we'll have a separate team that will chase redevelopment projects. So we want to do more of this.
Okay. And quickly, one last thing, the OC for 360 West, when is it expected exactly?
We've had a lockdown for the last 45 days and people are not even coming. Otherwise, we are still hoping that one can get it within a month or so. So the day things open up, we are literally 30 days away. We have small works to be done at site, and then, inspections, and they're home with that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Adhidev Chattopadhyay from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. The first question is on the Oberoi Mall. So I think we had said we had agreed an agreement to waive off 50% of rental for this financial year, and we have clocked around, I think, 72% of the FY20 rentals. So could you just explain how it has been calculated, and in April, May with the lockdown, where do you see the rental waivers going for this year?
I'll let Somil answer the first question. On the second question, it's like looking into a crystal gaze. I can't tell you, how this entire year will go. If, let's say, the lockdown opens on 1st of June, then, we are back in business, and, we'll see how this plays out. But if there's going to be a start-stop, then obviously, we all have to sit together, we're all in it together, and we'll work this through. So, Somil, I'll let you answer the first question, please.
Very simple, as far as the books of accounts are concerned, if you look at our disclosure on accounting policies also, as far as lease rentals are concerned, there is an aspect of straight lining. So you are very correct that, usually it should have been at about 50%. But what happens is, for the purposes of books, you take into account the entire lock-in period of the lease, and you're straight lining your revenue recognition on the basis of that lock-in period. So that's where you're seeing that a little bit of an anomaly come through. But the cash collections would have been where you're stating, but this is how it is as far as lease rentals are concerned.
So just to clarify on that, so the operating revenue is broadly the rent which has been collected from the retailers. Is it that way, or it is some percentage? Okay, and just a follow-up on this Borivali Mall. So are we on track for a Diwali launch next year? Like any timeline on that?
So we are, again, it's all dependent on how we are able to get workers. But yes, we are likely to finish our superstructure within this year itself. And, next year is when we will have all our retailers start doing their fit-outs. And if everything goes well, we are looking at a Diwali launch, next year Diwali launch.
Okay. And the final question is on Commerce One and also a bit of Commerce Two. So when do we expect some leasing traction, especially in Commerce One over there, considering the current environment?
It's very heartening and surprising, I would say, that we continue to get people who want to have office space. We leased, I think, a floor to Reliance, just 2 or 3 months ago. So there, like I told you, that there has been uptake of office space within the little space that we have. And but once things get normal, right now everyone's working from home. It's hardly anybody's priority. But once this opens, there is no other alternate, right? And the good part is even commercial buildings take forever to build. So even let's say when the markets are back, the supply won't be back with that same force. Number one. Number two, we also are hoping that per square foot consumption of space per person will go up because of these new norms, new issues that one will come with and all. So I guess these are a positive for the commercial office market. And everyone who is in the commercial office market will eventually benefit out of that. It's like a bit of a waiting game today, but eventually will play out.
Sure, sir. That was very helpful. Yeah. Okay. Thank you and all the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Oberoi for closing comments.
Thank you all for taking time for this call. We take your feedback very, very seriously. We love these interactions and we would love to continue to engage with you. Our team is always available to interact with you and speak with you. And if there are any further questions or any feedback, 1 hour is not enough, I know. So please feel free to connect with us via email or phone call. We're all available for you. Thank you again. Keep yourself safe, both from COVID and this cyclone for a day or two at least. And good luck. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Oberoi Realty Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.